is your designer? Jesus is the greatest designer. He's the only designer whose needles and stitches are 100% accurate. His needle can never break and his stitches are never loose. He will design your life so much that you will not even recognize yourself. He can design your life with joy. He can design your life with peace. He can design your life with blessings. He can design your life with favor. There is nothing God cannot design your life with. So if you need a dress code, go to him. If you need to wear joy, go to him. If you need a dress code that will give you peace, go to him. If you need a dress code that will give you fulfillment, go to him. If you need a dress code that will give you laughter, go to him. If you need a dress code that will give you healing, go to him. If you need a dress code that will give you dancing, go to him. No wonder when the woman with the issue of blood, when she got to Jesus and touched the hem of Jesus' garment, what she needed came out of Jesus. Everything you need is in Jesus. So if you feel you've got something missing in your life, it is him that can stitch your life back together again. All you need to do is to touch. Just touch the hem of his garment with prayer. Touch the hem of his garment with your praise and with your worship. Touch the hem of his garment with your thanksgiving and watch him come true for you. Watch him open doors for you. Watch him design your life with blessings. And Jesus felt that somebody had touched him and he asked, who touched me? Because power came out of him. Power to fulfill her needs came out of him. Power to respond to her request came out of him. I don't know what your request is today, but if only you can get to Jesus and touch him, if only you can reach Jesus, he will respond to you. Power will come out of him and attend to your needs. The way people talked about you yesterday is not the way people will talk about you tomorrow. Why? Because you have taken something from the master. You have touched the hem of his garment and he has changed your story. You need to start acting like somebody that already has a breakthrough. You cannot touch Jesus and not feel anything. You cannot touch Jesus and not feel different. You cannot have an experience with Jesus and still remain the same. It is impossible. Who do you go to when there is a special need in your life? Do you go to people or do you go to Jesus? Because Jesus is the greatest designer of your life. So today I have titled today's message as The Dress Code. And I'm going to be using the story of the woman with the issue of blood. Because of her circumstances, the woman with the issue of blood had the stigma of a leper. And in those days, when people see a leper, they always keep a great distance from them. A leper shouldn't be amongst the crowd of people. So the woman with the issue of blood, even though she actually wasn't a leper, but because of her situation, she had the stigma of a leper, and people couldn't stand to be near her. People couldn't go near her, and she couldn't go near people. She had this condition for 12 years. But one day, because she dressed correctly, something changed. One day, because she wore the right attire, something changed. One day, because her dressing changed, something changed in her life. The dress code. When she was going to meet Jesus, she didn't dress like a leper. Because if she had dressed like a leper, people would have been avoiding her. She wouldn't have even been able to reach where Jesus was. Because immediately people see her, they will say, oh, that's the woman with the issue of blood. And they will avoid her like a plague. And they will not even let her come near their vicinity. But this particular day, she decided to be different. She decided to do something different. She did not dress like a leper. She dressed like the rest of the people. She dressed like somebody who was already whole. She dressed like somebody that did not have any stigma. She dressed like someone that was not stigmatized. She did not dress like a leper that day. She dressed like somebody who was already healed and who was already whole. Because there's a certain way a leper is supposed to dress so that people would avoid you, so that people would try to shift from you. But on this particular day, she did not dress like a leper. She dressed like somebody who was already healed and who was already whole. Why? Because that was her strategy of how to get to Jesus. And the truth is, she had already touched the hem of Jesus' garment in her mind. That was what influenced her dressing. Because in her mind, she had already touched the hem of Jesus' garment. Because the Bible makes it clear to us. She said to herself, if only I can touch the hem of his garment, I will be made whole. She had already touched it in her mind before she actually touched it physically. Your mind is very important. The things you allow in your mind is very important. It determines a lot of your actions. You've got to think right. You've got to have the right mind towards every situation. And there's no better mind than the mind of Christ. Because if you have the mind of Christ, you will be able to think properly and correctly. You'll be able to think with wisdom. You'll be able to think with knowledge. You'll be able to think with understanding. You will be able to think according to the will of God. Now, let's pause on the woman with the issue of blood for a moment and let us actually talk about Jesus' garments. Let's talk about Jesus' garment for a minute. Jesus' garment had everything in it. It had faith. It had hope. It had healing. It had peace. It had joy. It had life. It had love. It had grace. It had forgiveness. It had acceptance. Jesus' garment had kindness. It had compassion. His garment had all these things. Now, if you need any of these things, all you need to do is to reach out and touch the hem of his garments. I don't know who needs joy today. I don't know who needs peace today. Whatever you need, it's in the hem of Jesus' garments. No wonder when the woman with the issue of blood, when she got to Jesus and touched the hem of Jesus' garment, what she needed came out of Jesus. Everything you need is in Jesus. All you need to do is to touch. Oh my, oh my. All you need to do is to touch. And Jesus felt that somebody had touched him. And he asked, who touched me? Because power came out of him. Power to fulfill her needs came out of him. Power to respond to her request came out of him. I don't know what your request is today, but if only you can get to Jesus and touch him, if only you can reach Jesus through your prayers, he will respond to you. Power will be released unto you. Power will come out of him and attend to your needs. Who is your designer? Let me just take it into a different direction for a minute. Who is your designer? Jesus is the greatest designer. I give it to him. He can design your life with joy. He can design your life with peace. He can design your life with blessings. He can design your life with favor. There is nothing God cannot design your life with. He's the greatest designer. Who do you go to when you want a special design? Who do you go to when there is a special need in your life? Do you go to people or do you go to Jesus? Because Jesus is the greatest designer of your life. Whatever you need, you'll find it in him. There is nothing that I have needed that I haven't found in Jesus. Nothing. Not one single thing. Everything I need is in Jesus. I just go to him and I ask. And I say, God, if this is your will, if you can grant my request, I'll be happy. There is nothing I have asked God for that he has not given me. Even the things that I did not ask for, but he saw that I needed. He gave me. And there are some things that I've asked for that he did not give me. And I'm happy that he did not give me, because I have realized that what he doesn't give me, he knows that I don't need them. If it's not in his will, I don't want it. Anything that is not God's will for me, I do not want it. Who is your designer? Jesus Christ. He is the greatest designer. He will design your life that you will not even recognize yourself. He will design your life so much that you will not even recognize yourself. You will look at yourself like, is this really me? Who is your designer? Any design and pattern from God will definitely make headlines. Why? Because it is what will distinguish you. It is what will make you stand out from the crowd. It is what will make you different from every other person. When God begins to design your life with favor, when God begins to design your life with blessing, it will get everybody talking. He will give you a blessing that speaks. It is what makes you the cynosure of all eyes. People will just be looking at you. They may not understand. But people who have used Jesus Christ as their designer, they may understand. But those who do not have Jesus as their designer, they will just be looking at you. There is something about this guy. There is something about this lady. I can't explain it. They will not be able to explain it, but they will know that there is something about you. If the woman with the issue of blood had dressed up like a leopard, probability is that she would never have made it to Jesus, because people would have noticed her and pushed her away from the crowd. The woman, instead of wearing the garment of sickness and sorrow, she decided to wear the garment of faith and hope. She just needed to touch Jesus to add healing to her dress code. She just needed to touch Jesus to have the complete design for her own garment. And what her garment needed was healing. She had already put on the garment of faith and hope, and all she needed was healing. She needed to touch Jesus to get her own garment complete. Jesus is the only designer whose needles and stitches are accurate. So if you need a dress code, go to him. Whatever you need, go to him. If you need to wear joy, go to him. If you need a dress code that will give you peace, go to him. If you need a dress code that will give you fulfillment, go to him. If you need a dress code that will give you laughter, go to him. If you need a dress code that will give you healing, go to him. If you need a dress code that will give you dancing, go to him. He's the only designer whose needles and stitches are 100% accurate. Jesus doesn't just design you ordinarily. He designs you divinely, and he puts his logo on it, so that anybody that sees you will know that you have been visited by the Lord himself. Your garment of mourning can become a garment of praise. Your garment of pain can become a garment of power. Your garment of mistakes can become your garment of miracles. Your garment that has broken down can become a garment of breakthrough. You just need to have the right dress code. You just need to dress up correctly. You need to dress up with your breakthrough in mind. You need to start acting like somebody that already has a breakthrough. So when I say you need to dress up with something in mind, that means you need to start acting like somebody that has already received breakthrough. You need to dress up correctly. So if you need healing, you need to start acting like somebody that is already healed. You need to dress up with faith, with hope, and with belief. Just like the woman with the issue of blood. She believed that if only I can touch the hem of his garment. That was her dress code for the day. She had faith, hope, and belief. She had put on the garment of faith. She had put on the garment of hope. She had put on the garment of belief. She just needed to touch Jesus to complete her garment with healing. If she hadn't put on the garment of faith, hope, and belief, there is a probability that she wouldn't have received her healing that day. All you need to do is to just touch the hem of his garment with prayer and supplication. The Bible says, with prayer and supplication, make your request known to him. Touch the hem of his garment with your praise and with your worship. Touch the hem of his garment with your thanksgiving and watch him come true for you. Watch him give you miracles. Watch him give you breakthroughs. Watch him open doors for you. Watch him design your life with blessings. Watch him give you a new life, a new story, a new beginning, and a new testimony.
How can I not love a God like you?
The way people talked about you yesterday is not the way people will talk about you tomorrow. So you've got to dress up with your tomorrow in mind. If you want people to start talking about you in a different way, then you've got to dress up in that way that you want people to start talking about you. Dress up with your tomorrow in mind. If there's a certain way you want people to talk about you, then you've got to dress up with that in mind. The woman with the issue of blood, she dressed up with her tomorrow in mind because she knew that she didn't want people to talk about her like somebody that had a stigma, but she wanted people to talk about her like somebody who was free. She wanted people to talk about her like somebody who was healed. She wanted people to talk about her like somebody who was whole. And she dressed up just exactly the way she wanted people to talk about her. The way people saw you yesterday will not be the way they will see you tomorrow. Why? Because you have taken something from the master. You have touched the hem of his garment and he has changed your story. I don't know how many people today need a change of story. You just need to reach out to him and let him take you through that process. And just watch how your story will change. Just watch how your life will change. Jesus never lets anybody down. No. God can never let you down. If he doesn't give you something because he knows you don't need it, so you don't have to worry yourself about it. He said, make your request known to God. He will even teach you to request the right thing. Because when you request the right thing, God will give it to you. If you request the wrong thing and he knows that what you are requesting is not good for you, he will not give you. So if you go to him and you allow him to control your life, if you allow him to take the wheel of your life, he will even give you the right thing to request so that your desires will be fulfilled. He will give you what to desire. He will help you to desire the right thing. He will give you the right expectation. The Bible says the expectation of the righteous shall not be cut short. He will give you the right expectation so that that expectation will not be cut off. The Bible says, ask whatever you need and he shall give it unto you. Ask and you shall receive. He will guide you to ask for the right thing, because if it's not the right thing, he will not give you. If it is something that he knows that you don't need, or something that will put you in trouble, or something that he knows is not in his will for your life, you won't get it. So God will direct you to desire the right thing, to ask for the right thing, and that is when he will release that thing unto you. The way people saw you yesterday is not the way they will see you tomorrow. Why? Because you have taken something from the master, and now people can see that your story has changed. So you have to dress up like somebody who already has a change of story. You have to dress up with the right attitude, the attitude to keep on pressing forward. The woman with the issue of blood, she did not care about the crowd. She kept on pressing forward. She kept on pressing forward. You've got to dress up with the right attitude, the attitude to keep on pressing forward, despite the situation around you, despite the circumstance around you, despite your storm, despite the crowd. You've got to keep on pressing forward. Even though there might be some stitches missing in your garment, you've got to get to him, because it is him that can fill up those missing stitches. It is him that can sew those garments back together. It is only him that can stitch your life back together again. So if you feel you've got something missing in your life, it is him that can stitch your life back together again. What is missing on your garment? All you need to do is to get to him. Are there stitches that are loose on your garments? Are there stitches that are missing on your garments? You've got to get to Jesus, because he is the perfect designer. His needle can never break, and his stitches are never loose. And when he has completed your garments, when he has made you whole, you begin to walk in style. You begin to walk in confidence because you have been designed completely and correctly. Your dress code is very important. You need to dress up like somebody who has a new story. You need to dress up like somebody who is wearing a new garment. A new garment of joy, a new garment of hope, a garment of healing, a garment of peace, a garment of strength, a garment of will, a garment of determination. This woman, she must have crawled her way through to get to Jesus. And in the midst of her crawling, people would have stepped on her. The crowd would have stepped on her. But she said, at all costs, I must get to him. How many people want to get to Jesus at all cost? I want to get to Jesus at all cost. I don't know about you, but anything that I know that will change my life at all cost, I must get there. And Jesus is the only one that can change my life. If you need your life to be changed, if you need a life-changing experience, you've got to get to him at all cost. It doesn't matter what is around you. It doesn't matter your situation. It doesn't matter your circumstance. You've got to get to him at all costs. While she was crawling, she must have stumbled across different other garments. She must have, her hand may have brushed all other garments. But when she touched the right hem, she knew that it was Jesus. You cannot touch Jesus and not feel anything. You cannot touch Jesus and not feel different. You cannot get to Jesus. You cannot have an experience with Jesus and still remain the same. It is impossible, because the power of the Almighty will overshadow you. Because with that single experience that you have had with him, his power will overshadow you. When she touched the right hem, she knew that it was Jesus, because that was when she received her healing. That was when the power that came out of Jesus went into her. When you touch Jesus, you will know there will be a difference. Jesus makes the difference. You will see that difference. And not just you will feel that difference. Everybody around you will see that difference in your life. So my question for you today is, have you tried all manner of things to get a breakthrough? Have you lost your way in the midst of the crowd? Have you touched all kinds of hems? Have you touched all kinds of garments? If you have, you've got to stop, because your breakthrough is in the hem of Jesus' garment. I'm sure the woman with the issue of blood, she wouldn't have just sat down and just, watch herself continue to remain in that condition. She would have probably tried so many things. She would have tried the doctors and nothing worked. She would have tried so many options, but nothing worked. And one day, she just said, okay, Jesus seems to be my only option. I will get to him. Have you tried so many other options in your life? Are you in need of a breakthrough and you've tried so many other options? Jesus is the only option for you. If you've tried every other option and that option has failed, the only option that I know of, I can't prescribe any other option for you. The only option that I know of is Jesus Christ, because he has worked for me and he's still working for me. And he's going to continue to work for me, because he's my beginning and my end. He's my Alpha and my Omega. He's my light in the midst of darkness. Whatever you need, it is in the hem of Jesus' garment. Your wholeness is in the hem of Jesus' garment. Your healing is in the hem of Jesus' garment. Your joy, your peace, it is all in the hem of Jesus' garment. You've just got to touch him. And let his power, let it overshadow you. Let the power of the Most High God come upon your life, and you will see that change, that breakthrough, that miracle, that healing come to pass in your life.